Look, we need to talk about what just went down with Northwest, because the internet is absolutely losing its mind right now. Kanye's 11-year-old daughter just had what people are calling either the most confident performance of her generation or the most cringe-worthy moment in celebrity kid history. And honestly, the jury is still out, but the courtroom is packed and everyone's screaming their verdict. This is not a drill, people. This is a full-blown cultural moment that has everyone from Gen Z to concerned millennials asking the same question. Did we just witness a star being born, or did we just watch nepotism do its worst work in real time? Before we dive into this absolute chaos, do me a solid. If you are here for the unfiltered celebrity tea, the kind your mainstream news will not serve you, smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell like your life depends on it. Trust me, you do not want to miss what is coming next on Celebrity Watchdog, because we are just getting started. So here's what happened. Northwest recently took the stage at one of Kanye's events, and let me tell you, the confidence was not just present, it was aggressive. We're talking main character energy turned up to 11. She strutted out there like she owned the venue, the city, and possibly the entire entertainment industry. Now, in any other universe, we would be cheering for a young girl showing confidence. But here's where things get spicy. The performance itself has divided the internet faster than pineapple on pizza ever could. On one side, you've got the defenders. These are the people saying, hey, she's just a kid expressing herself. She's been raised in a creative environment, let her live her truth. They're pointing out that North has been surrounded by music, fashion, and performance art her entire life. She literally learned to walk in Yeezy prototypes and probably had her first words auto-tuned. Of course she is going to have that energy. Of course she is going to command a stage. These supporters are waving their digital flags, saying that we should be celebrating young Black excellence and creative expression, not tearing it down. But then, and this is a big but, you've got the other camp, the critics, the people who watched this performance and felt something between secondhand embarrassment and genuine concern. They're not mad at North, let me be clear. They're looking directly at Kanye. They're side-eyeing Kim. They're questioning whether an 11-year-old should be put in a position where the entire world gets to judge her artistic choices before she has even hit puberty. These folks are saying that what we witnessed was not a natural talent showcase, but a manufactured moment designed to feed into the West family brand machine. And here's where it gets really interesting. The performance itself featured North rapping, and when I say rapping, I mean she came out with lyrics that had people doing double takes. We're talking about bars that felt way too mature for someone who should still be worried about algebra homework and who was sitting where at lunch. The confidence in her delivery was undeniable, but it also felt rehearsed to the point of being almost robotic, like she had been coached within an inch of her life to hit every beat, every pose, every moment exactly right. Now let's pump the brakes for a second and talk about the elephant in the room, Kanye West, the man who has never met a spotlight he didn't want to stand directly in the center of, the man who interrupted Taylor Swift at the VMAs because he genuinely believed Beyoncé's video was more deserving, the man who has declared himself a god, a genius, and a voice of a generation, sometimes all in the same sentence. Is it really that surprising that his daughter is showing similar levels of confidence bordering on what some might call delusion? Here's the thing about Kanye, though. Love him or hate him, and trust me, there are passionate people on both sides. He has the receipts to back up at least some of his claims. The man has changed hip-hop multiple times over. He has influenced fashion, whether the fashion world wanted to admit it or not. He has created albums that will be studied in music classes for decades. So when Kanye sees that same spark in his daughter when he puts her on stage, he genuinely believes he is nurturing the next generation of greatness.
But is he? Or is he projecting his own need for validation onto a child who should be allowed to just be a child? That is the million-dollar question that has therapists across America writing think pieces as we speak. Let us talk about what the fans actually saw during this performance. North came out with an outfit that screamed designer, every piece probably costing more than most people's monthly rent. The stage presence was there, no one can deny that. She knew where the cameras were, she knew when to pause for effect, she knew how to work a crowd. All of that is impressive for an 11-year-old, genuinely impressive. But here is what made people uncomfortable. It felt less like a kid having fun and more like a kid performing a role, like she was playing the character of a confident young rapper rather than actually being one. The lyrics she delivered had people raising eyebrows so high they practically left the atmosphere. Some of the content felt age inappropriate, touching on themes of wealth, superiority, and dismissing haters. Again, classic Kanye territory, but coming out of the mouth of someone who was born in the Instagram age, it hit different. It felt like listening to a child repeat grown-up conversations they heard at the dinner table, not quite understanding the weight of the words, but knowing they sound cool. Social media did what social media does best. It exploded. Twitter became a battlefield. TikTok was flooded with reaction videos. Instagram comment sections turned into philosophical debates about parenting, privilege, and the price of fame. You had one group of people saying, "This is what confidence looks like. This is what happens when you raise a child to believe in themselves." Then you had another group saying, "This is what happens when you raise a child in an echo chamber, where no one ever says no, where every impulse is validated, where normal childhood development gets sacrificed at the altar of brand building." The embarrassment factor that people keep mentioning is not really about North herself. Kids are going to be kids. They are going to try things, sometimes fail, sometimes succeed, and hopefully learn from both. The embarrassment is for the adults in the room. The embarrassment is watching parents potentially push their child into the spotlight before she has developed the emotional tools to handle the inevitable criticism that comes with it. Because let me tell you, the internet is not kind. The internet does not care that you are 11. The internet does not have a filter or a conscience or a bedtime. And this brings us to a bigger conversation about celebrity kids in general. We have watched them grow up in real time. We have seen the ones who thrived and the ones who crashed spectacularly. We have seen child stars become well-adjusted adults, and we have seen child stars become cautionary tales with their own VH1 Behind the Music episodes. The pattern is pretty clear. The kids who had some semblance of normalcy, who were allowed to fail privately, who were not constantly performing for public consumption, they generally turned out okay. The ones who were treated like products from day one, the results are significantly more mixed. North West was literally born into fame. She did not ask for this. She did not choose to have millions of people invested in her every move before she could even talk. But here she is, and the choices her parents make about how much to expose her, how much to push her, how much to let her just be a regular kid, those choices matter. They matter a lot. Let us be real about something else, the nepotism conversation. North West could be the most talented 11-year-old rapper on planet Earth, and people would still question whether she earned her platform. That is not fair to her, but it is the reality of being born into the family she was born into. She will always have to work twice as hard to prove that she is not just riding on her parents' coattails, even though she literally had no choice in the matter. That is a heavy burden for a kid to carry. Some people are arguing that Kanye is doing what any proud parent would do, showcasing his child's talents. But Kanye is not any parent. He is Kanye West. When he puts his daughter on stage, it is not a cute school recital. It is an event. It is going to be filmed, analyzed, memed, and debated. Every choice becomes a statement. Every performance becomes a referendum on parenting, privilege, and the perpetuation of celebrity culture. The shine versus show-off debate is fascinating because it assumes there is a clear line between the two. But is there? When you are raised in an environment where showing off is basically the family business, where confidence is currency and attention is oxygen, can you even distinguish between shining and showing off? For North, this might just be normal. This might be what dinner conversations look like. This might be what success has been defined as her entire life. What is really getting under people's skin is the sense that we are watching a childhood being monetized in real time. Every appearance, every performance, every viral moment adds to the family brand value. And North, whether she fully understands it or not, is now part of that business model. She is content. She is a talking point. She is engagement metrics and trending topics, and eventually probably her own product line. The fans who are embarrassed are not embarrassed for North. They are embarrassed for us, for a culture that consumes celebrity kids like entertainment products, for a system that allows parents to put their kids in these positions, for themselves, for watching, for commenting, for being part of the machine that makes this all worthwhile for the families involved. But here's the flip side. Maybe we are all being too precious about this. Maybe North genuinely loves performing. Maybe she asked to be on that stage. Maybe she is having the time of her life and we are all projecting our own issues with fame and childhood onto her situation. Kids are resilient. Kids are adoptable. And kids raised in extraordinary circumstances learn to navigate extraordinary realities. The question is not really whether North West should be performing. The question is whether we, as a culture, can handle watching celebrity kids perform without turning it into a referendum on everything else. Can we just let a kid be a kid, even if that kid happens to have Kanye West as a father and access to stages most adults will never see? Or will we always be analyzing, critiquing, and projecting our own values onto these situations? What is undeniable is that this performance, whatever you think of it, has got people talking. It has raised important questions about children in entertainment, about nepotism, about the long-term effects of growing up in the public eye. Those conversations are valuable, even if they are uncomfortable, especially because they are uncomfortable. North West is 11 years old. She is going to change, grow, evolve, and probably cringe at videos of herself in about 5 years like every other teenager does. The difference is her cringe moments have millions of views and will live on the internet forever. That is a lot of pressure. That is a lot of permanence for someone who is still figuring out who they are. So, was she there to shine or show off? Maybe both, maybe neither. Maybe she was just there because her dad asked her to be, and she said yes because she's 11 and your parents still have a lot of influence at that age. Maybe the real question is why we need her to be one or the other. Why we can't just acknowledge that this is complicated, that being a celebrity kid in the social media age is uncharted territory, and that we probably won't know how any of this affected her until she's old enough to write her own memoir. Thanks for watching Celebrity Watchdog. We'll be here tracking all the drama you need to know about.